to another episode of Ghana's in Africa podcast. Thank you for being here. Hope you have had a wonderful week and a good start to the festive season. And I know many people celebrate during this time around, celebrating with being with family, and there's football around. So it's been a mixed week for the Gunners. We began at least the week with a loss to us away at Aston Villa. Disappointing, and also some negatives in terms of injuries. We're missing a lot of players, centre backs especially. There are some positives as well. We won our Champions League game away at Bruges, and some positive in terms of Gabriel Jesus is back on the pitch and he looks good. Some players got some minutes, like the likes of Christian Norgard, Ethan Oneri, Mali Salmon making his debut in the Champions League, and for the first time at 16 years old. He's the old crazy veteran now, since Max Dauman is 15 years old. I think he's our third player of 16 years and under to play in the Champions League, which we are the only club to have 3 players under the age of 16 years old to play in the Champions League, which is Jack Wilshere, Max Dauman, and Mali Salmon now. Hope Mali has a great future in the club. Thank you again for being here. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I appreciate it. So this week coming up, we play Wolves at home. An opportunity again to get points and to give people some confidence. A few players who will probably need some goals, confidence, like Sofia Corres, Eze, Odegaard, even Saka as well. It's been I would say it's a positive. There's quite more positive than there's negatives this week, and we're still top of the Champions League group, still top of the Premier League. So, and the good thing about the Champions League being top, we're on 18 points, I think 6 points, or I think 6 points ahead of the second place. 6 points ahead of the 9th place team, which is Liverpool, meaning that we are qualified for the next round of games, and we're probably guaranteed to finish in the top 3. Living out, we have 2 games left with Milan, Inter Milan, and Kairat. So that's an opportunity again for Mikel Arteta to rotate the teams and give a break to some players when the time comes for those games next year. Look, it's been starting on the Champions League. It's been a wonderful Champions League start. I think 6 games out of 6, 6 wins out of 6. Considered 1 goal, like 5 clean sheets, and we consider goal to probably the second best team in the Champions League this year in Bayern Munich. So it's a good start. We're a perfect start. Out of, I think, how many 100 and something teams in Europe, we're the only team who hasn't lost a game in the Champions League and other European competition, which is Europa League and the Conference League, which is a strong start for us. Hopefully we continue. And looking at the game against Bruges or Brugge, it doesn't matter. Apologies to my Belgian friends. It was, look, we're going to the game, I was worried about the amount of injuries we are getting, especially on defenders, and also in terms of how much we're going to load in the players that are playing, because I believe the injuries we are suffering now is because of the load that most of the players are taking, in terms of the likes of Timber, I could say Calafiori, Rice, who else is struggling with something? Intensity of some of the players, their energy on games, they're suffering a bit. Even Ben White has played a lot. He hasn't played a lot of games, but for a short space of time, he's playing a lot of football. So but anyway, we went to Belgium. I think it was talk they fired our coach on 2 days before the game. So they didn't need to. The new coach needed to make decisions. Probably he didn't change much from their previous games. So, and it was quite talk about how they played against the likes of Barcelona. They drew 3-3 against Barcelona. So they're a good side, and also a team that's used to playing to dominate most games. And you could see how they played in that game. They are used to sort of dominating games and winning games. So they try to play on the front foot, try to control the ball more. They're good way of keeping possession. They pass around. They got interesting wingers as well. So they had threats. I think they had 8 shots on target against us, and Ray had to make those saves as well. So yeah, I think it was a good game. A great performance from Noni Madueke. Got 2 goals. The first one, a worldie. That's what I want to see from him more often, showing his physicality, dominating his position, running at players, taking shots. That's what I want to see from him. And again, you can see his development and confidence growing, because he's not doing the same thing over and over again now. He changes, he cuts inside, he keeps it simple at times, he takes on his fullback, which you will like to see. And he was rewarded with a great goal. And then we got a second again, Nonomadueke, Martin Zubimendi was wonderful. Ran from the left-hand side, crossed with his left foot, and the defenders were ball watching back post, Noni with his second, which was wonderful. And then Martinelli in the second half started growing in the game, taking on his players. I was so happy to see him beating him multiple times. So meaning that he's getting his confidence again. And because sometimes you'll see trying to beat someone and he never really beats the man. He either loses the ball or he goes backwards. I was happy to see him taking on his man, beating him and getting a cross in. This time he beat his man, cut inside, put in the top corner, which was a wonderful goal from Gabi Martinelli. And some other news. Christian Ogat got some game time playing at centre back. I felt like he was really good in terms of how he positioned himself. He didn't need to make a lot of things. Position yourself, be in line with your other defenders. When the ball receives, he take his time, passed well. You could see when the crosses were coming in, he's in great position. I was impressed with him in his combination with Hincapié as well, who's been tremendous in his period. And then Miles had a wonderful game as well. I was happy with his performance. Ben White was good again. His combination with Noni Madueke on that side as well was very good. Again, the midfield, Mikel Merino went about his business. The only thing was Victor Corres. Usually you see him, his energy in terms of runs, trying to get the ball. I think he was mostly central in this game. He didn't move wide a lot or coming to get the ball. Maybe it's a confident thing, but I've seen the conversation now about him, people being worried about him, but I'll give him time, especially that they saw what Gabriel Jesus does. They are totally different players, they provide different things, but I would love to see Victor Yokeres improve. Like he was starting to improve before the injury, and hopefully he can find that again and try to contribute to the team, because we're going to need him. We're going to need all the players, especially with the amount of injuries we are getting. And then Gabriel Jesus came on. I was happy to see him. He's been waiting for his opportunity. I think he looked good. Like in Gabriel Jesus style, his touch is fantastic, combination play. He gives us something, that unpredictability, that flair in and around the box, and he buzzes around the energy that he gains. He drifts to the left, he drifts to the right, he plays in pockets, he drops deep. I think if Gabriel Jesus contributes and plays a few games in the next 5 months, I think it's going to contribute majorly. Hopefully he doesn't get any niggles and injuries. He gets time. Coming off the bench will do with that energy, and hopefully in some games he starts. As soon as he gets his fitness, I think he'll probably start a lot of games. He can play wide. They've had a problem with the left wing. Having Jesus an option there will be good. Yeah, man. I think great performance all in all. 3-0, a clean sheet, top of the table. And then we're looking forward to the Premier League and the Carabao Cup now and the FA Cup in January. So we're in a good space right now in terms of results, and in another opportunity in terms of the games that are coming up. And hopefully we get defenders back, man, and not lose any more players. That's all I want. Can we get players back and not lose any players? It feels like if we get 2 players back, we lose 2 more players. So it's been, hopefully Kai is around the corner, Gabi, Saliba available, Trossard got a niggle again. But yeah, hopefully we get some people back, man. And then looking forward to Wolves this weekend at home. Probably the worst team in the Premier League this season. They can't even buy a win, even a goal. They lost 4-1 to United on Monday. They scored a goal. In the last 5, they lost their last 5 games. 2-0 to Chelsea, 2-0 to Palace, 1-0 to Aston Villa. Where else did they lose to? Lost all their 5 games. And yeah, Rob Edwards, probably they're going to let him go. I don't know. Is it a good time to let him go or just keep him because you're going down anyway? So go down with him and then start planning for next season in the Championship. Yeah, man. I think on paper people will think everything on paper, even on form, on anything, we are supposed to win this game. But it's something that we don't need to take for granted. We need to get the wins, score goals, get people some confidence. As mentioned, your likes of your Cornets needs goals to get some confidence. Saka, Eze, Odegaard, they need some performances to continue. Especially with the performance at Villa. Would love to see some performances. And also give people more minutes as well. Because Calafiori is suspended, so Miles will probably start at left back. Ben White get more minutes. Odegaard, hopefully. Madueke, Martinelli get more minutes. Even if Saliba is available, he probably gets some game time as well. And because we have Everton in next week, the good thing is that we play this game and we have a week off for the first time in a while. So hopefully we get some people. They'll probably get a few days off next week, like Sunday, Monday, come back on a Tuesday, and get some training and get ready for Everton. I think this game we should be winning and winning it comfortable, especially when we play at home. Yeah, a team that's struggling so much, we need to be winning that game. Yeah, looking into December, man, in the rest of December, it's going to be tough. There's quite a few games, but it's games that we can win and hopefully build some confidence again, build some momentum, go on another run where we can collect points, and hopefully by the time January hits, we're in good form, we've collected points, we've put pressure on City and on the chasing pack, and then we have people in rhythm, in fitness, and then we've been able to rotate the team as well. So yeah, man, I think we can win this one. I think it's more for me in selecting the team for this weekend. It's more about people being available and who's available, especially defensively. Does Declan Rice come back? Julian Timber, and one of the centre backs as well, Saliba. Do you study your Corres or Merino? So especially if Declan Rice is available, do you give more minutes to Christian Nogard again in midfield probably this time around and rest Zubimendi, who's been fantastic, Zubimendi. But no, in terms of the team, I think we would go for tomorrow. I think Raya, White at right back, Timber and Hincapie to continue, and Lewis Kelly at left back, Zubimendi, Rice in midfield, Odegaard. I'm tempted to bring Eze back. I'll bring Eze back at left wing, Saka on the right, and Gyökeres up top. I think we need to build to have some continuity in the team as well, as much as one rotation, some continuity in terms of building the relationships again. And then, yeah, I think that's the team. If Saliba is back, play him at centre back, please, because he needs to get momentum as when going to the Everton game. And then we have Palace in the Carabao Cup. So, and then some big games coming up early Jan. Yeah, Villa, I think, coming up around there, Liverpool as well around there as well. We need to pick up some form. for some players as well, and some momentum in terms of how we play, and how we put pressure on teams, and we've been considering a lot of chances. Considering we made a lot of changes at the back, we will consider a lot of changes. Or if we look at when we get people back, we'll build again that toughness, that rigid and defensive, very strong. That's our identity, I believe in. Very strong, not giving any opportunities to opposition, closing games down, playing in their half. Hopefully that will continue. Thank you so much for watching. I'll drop this very soon on audio as well on Spotify and Apple. Follow us on TikTok, Threads, Instagram. It's Gunners in Africa, all across. Thanks so much. I appreciate your support. Come on, you Gunners.